Good morning. It's Tuesday, June 22nd, and I'm Kenny Polcari, host of the party, morning market commentary, everything you need to know about what's going on. So where am I today? Well, if you look right behind me, you're going to kind of get a sense. Right over here to the left of me is the Oculus. Those are just the wings as they go up, and I can show you that afterwards. This building right back there is the Freedom Tower, just off here to my left. Behind me is the Memorial and the 9/11 Museum, and then this big brown building right here is across the West Side Highway. That's Brookfield Place over in Battery Park City. It's a gorgeous day in New York City right now. It's probably about 70 degrees outside. But it's going to be another hot day. And while New York City is making its way back, we're still short of yellow cabs, and we don't have the coffee guys on every corner like we had to. So New York City will be back when there's plenty of yellow cabs on the street, when the coffee guy is on every street corner, and the guy selling dirty water hot dogs is also on every street corner. But they are making their way back, and that's a positive sign. So let's talk about this. What's new? What's happening today? What happened yesterday? We saw the market rally really strongly again, though nobody should be that surprised. We talked about it in yesterday's note. We'll talk about it again this morning, and then kind of what's happening today as the market's taking a breather. So hold on one second. Look at the shot behind me, and I'll be right back. Okay, so like I said, it is Tuesday, June 22nd, and so what do you need to know? Here's what you need to know. Jimmy who? Yesterday was all about Jimmy Bullard. Friday was all about Jimmy Bullard. Yesterday, Jimmy who, right? Powell and Harkins, they disregard his comedy completely. The algos loved it and went all in. We saw the indexes soar. It was very much a technical bounce, not really a fundamental shift in psychology. Stocks were up, yields were up, oil's up, dollars up, the VIX is down, and gold was down. Bitcoin getting closer to the danger zone, right? Expect the media to bring out all the big boys telling you that it's all okay, just settle down, nothing to worry about. Oil, like I said, rallied 2.6% yesterday, and what are we having for dinner tonight? We're having the grilled shrimp on a bed of orzo with feta cheese and spinach. Okay, so look, stocks exploded higher yesterday, right after Friday's tantrum. The Dow added 586 points. The S&P up 59, the Nasdaq up 111, the Russell up 48. Treasury yields rose to 1.48% as investors sold the treasuries to buy stocks in this complete reversal. By the end of the day, yields were at 1.48, like I said. The VIX, which surged by 16% on Friday, collapsed by 17% yesterday. The dollar index continues to advance, putting pressure on some of the commodities, while West Texas Intermediate, which is oil, crude oil in this country, surged higher, adding nearly 2.6% in yesterday's trade. This is very much a demand story, period, the end, as the world reopens. Yesterday, we heard from Dallas Fed President Bobby Kaplan reiterating his support for a pullback, saying that the central bank should take its foot off the accelerator sooner rather than later, but he stopped short, unlike his counterpart, Jimmy B, of picking any date, whether it was 2022 or 2023. In fact, he just supported Powell's position, a position that he announced last Wednesday right after the FOMC meeting. Right after, and speaking of Jay Powell, once again, he is going to appear on Capitol Hill this morning, and he released his comments yesterday for public scrutiny. So we knew what he was going to say today, and in it, he once again plans on telling us, yes, the economy is improving, showing sustained progress, and yes, while we have inflation, it remains transitory, and yes, they're beginning to talking about tapering, saying that he expects interest rates to be about 0.5 point higher by the end of 2023. Nothing in what he said suggested 2022 at all, and this helped to send stocks higher, right? As the algos, who couldn't wait to sell it on Friday, turned buyer yesterday. Next, let's be honest, right? Friday was really an overreaction, which caused the indexes to back off. As I said, the market was just looking for a reason to sell off because rates must rise. We know that. Jimmy B, who is a respected member of the Fed, is not a voting member, which is why they sent him out to float the balloon and kind of poke the bear a little bit. Look, it's not always about the fundamentals. It can be a technical reaction, and that's what we saw yesterday, right? After what we saw the market get crushed on Friday, then yesterday, all these indexes came right down. The Dow, the S&P, the Russell came right down and sat on their trend lines where they found support. And so therefore, once investors and markets realized they found support, boom, they take off. So it was much more of a technical reaction versus any fundamental change, either in macro data or psychology. And so you can't really just explain yesterday's move away suddenly with new fundamental analysis on the macroeconomic. It just doesn't work like that, right? It's okay to say that there was a technical bounce because really nothing has changed between Friday when the market collapsed and yesterday when the market exploded, right? Other than the talking heads all discussing and dissecting what Jimmy B said, and what Jay Powell was going to say, and what was Bobby Kaplan going to say, and what's the rest of them going to say, as they continue to poke the bear, right? But look, they did succeed, and I said this yesterday. They did succeed in putting 2022 on the table, right? It is now in play, whether anyone wants to believe it or not. They put 2022 out there. Now, Jay Powell is still talking about 2023. The fact is, if the economy speeds up, if inflation speeds up, then they can start to move the conversation more towards 2022, and that's what Jimmy Bullard did, right? He put it on the table for people to start to consider that 2022 could be a reality. And I'm not saying it is, but it is now out there. So expect as we move along and we see the economy return to more of a normal phase as it continues to grow. If we don't see inflation be as transitory as they think it's going to be, then expect that conversation about interest rates moving before 2023 to be very much part of the conversation, right? Now look, unlike Friday where there was no place to hide, when everything came under pressure, every sector yesterday saw a complete reversal of fortune. Every sector was higher. Energy up 3%, the XLE. Utilities, XLU up 0.5%. Financials, XLF up 2%. Consumer staples, XLP up 1.5%. Basic materials, XLB up 1.3%. And the list goes on. And again, the value trade came back and outperformed the growth trade with the SPYV up 1.4%, while the growth trade was only up 0.7%. So all the talk of the slowing economy due to higher rates was suddenly no longer part of the conversation yesterday, which is a little bit curious because why not? It was all the headline on Friday, right? The fact that Bullard said rates would rise earlier, it was all a part. Well, if rates rise earlier, then it's going to slow the economy, and it caused that shift in psychology. But that wasn't evident at all yesterday. In fact, because nothing has changed, because Jay Powell didn't reiterate Bullard's comments, that whole conversation about the slowing economy is now off the table, right? But remember, anytime they change the inputs into the equation, then the output has to change. So if they start talking about moving rates sooner, then the risk parameters have to change, and investors will reprice risk as we've seen, right? If everything stays the same and rates remain at zero, then that's what it's going to be. There's going to be no other place to go, and stocks will continue to do better, right? This morning we got Jay Powell on Capitol Hill at 10 a.m. And as discussed, he's expected to keep to his script, right? He remains committed to see a full recovery. Inflation is notable, but it is transitory, and it's nothing expect to happen before mid-2023. Dow futures this morning were down 33 points. S&Ps are down 6, Nasdaq's off 26, and the Russell's off 9. And that shouldn't surprise anyone either after the explosive rally yesterday as it continues to churn to try to find some stability, right? Economic data today includes existing home sales. They are expected to be down 2.2%, and we get the Richmond Fed survey, which is expected to be unchanged at 18. European markets are also a bit muted after their Monday surge that recovered a lot of their losses from last week as well. The European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde telling investors that the Eurozone economy is clearly in a different situation, offering a much more optimistic outlook across the region. But the UK is also expected to announce today that they're going to join the TPTA, which is the Trans-Pacific Trade Accord, joining Japan, Canada, Australia, Vietnam, New Zealand, Singapore, Mexico, Peru, Brunei, Chile, and Malaysia. Across erasing, and this agreement actually sets all these countries up to erase nearly 95% of all the tariffs on goods and services between their members. So it would be viewed as a positive, right? Oil ended the week last week at $71.95, blasted higher yesterday, ending the day at $73.66 a barrel. Nothing new has changed there, right? The story hasn't changed. It's very much a demand story, and you know that we get calls for $100 a barrel of oil by the end of the year from Goldman. Bitcoin this morning is trading at 31,300, down another 1,100 points as the sun is rising over the Atlantic as it tries to hold on to the key $30,000 level. And it's key because a breach of 30 means it's going to have a 20 handle on it very quickly. But let's see if all the trader types and all the big money boys can hold the line right here. And if it breaches, then expect Mikey Novogratz and Mark Yusko and Tony Pompliano all to come out and tell everyone, look, it's a new asset. It's still very much in its infancy. Anyone investing in it has to be prepared for dramatic moves, and that any collapse in prices is absolutely nothing but a buying opportunity as they all talk their book. So just understand that, right? Not saying it's a bad investment. I'm just saying go in with your eyes open. Ethereum is trading down another couple of $100 at 1,800, and Dogecoin is now trading at 19 cents, down 75% from its high with no bottom in sight. The S&P closed last night at 42.24, blasting right up and through that psychological 4,200 level that I thought was going to create some resistance, which it did not, because the excitement was so wild yesterday, right? And everyone that was trying to sell it on Friday, who couldn't sell it fast enough, suddenly turned buyer yesterday. They couldn't buy them fast enough, and so therefore, boom, it sent the markets up higher. But long-term investors are remaining just composed, not listening to the noise, or just riding the wave, right? Listen, as I said, rates are going to remain zero at least through, according to Powell, mid-2023. So that does give us about another 18 months or so of low rates. So I think stocks are the place to go, right? You know what you can do? You can text the word invest at 21,000 on your phone to get my digital business card. Feel free to download it, send me a text, an email, give me a call. I'm happy to discuss with you. I'm happy to talk to you about the markets or about a plan, whatever it is. You can also follow me on Twitter at Kenny Polcari, right? So what are we having tonight? As I sit here and I think as the sun comes up and the day gets warmer, we're going to have grilled shrimp. And I present this today on a bed of lemon-infused orzo with some spinach and feta cheese. It presents beautifully. It's easy to make, and this will certainly become a summertime favorite. And for this, you need about 2 dozen large, cleaned and deveined shrimp, right? Take the tails off, just have them cleaned and deveined. You want 10 or 12 skewers. You want olive oil, oregano, fresh lemon juice, minced garlic. You need a handful of fresh spinach. You need feta cheese. You need orzo, right? Orzo's that kind of pasta that looks like rice, but it's pasta. They use it a lot in different pasta salads and soups and all that stuff. If you're using wooden skewers versus metal ones, make sure that you soak them in water for a good 20 minutes before you skewer them with the shrimp, and then put them on the grill. Now listen, put about 4 shrimps on each skewer, just till you fill all your skewers, and then set them aside, put them in a Pyrex dish. Now you're gonna make the marinade. Next, you're gonna mix the olive oil, the garlic, the oregano. You're gonna put the juice of 1 fresh lemon in there. You're gonna put salt and pepper. You're gonna shake it really well to mix it, and then you're gonna pour half of that, just half of that, over the shrimps, and you're gonna let them marinate. Put it in the fridge, let the shrimps marinate. Save the other half because you're gonna use that for the pasta. You're gonna bring a pot of salted water to a rolling boil. You're gonna add your orzo. You're gonna let it cook for about 6 to 8 minutes. Be careful of testing because it cooks very quickly. You don't want it to be mushy, right? Once you strain it, save a little bit of the pasta water. Once you strain it, you're going to mix the hot pasta with the feta cheese and the spinach. You're going to mix it all. Then you're going to take the other half of the dressing and you're going to pour it over the orzo with the feta and the spinach, and you're going to mix it. But you want to do it while the pasta is still hot, right? Now you want to light the grill, get it really hot, clean it off. Take the shrimps out of the fridge, and you're going to put the shrimps on the grill, and you're going to grill the shrimps. Now, shrimps cook very quickly on the grill, especially if it's a really hot, searing grill. So don't walk away from them. Put them on there. Once they turn pink, flip them. Let the other side turn pink. You'll know when they're done, right? And if you don't, you're going to learn very quickly. But listen, if they're on there for more than really 5 minutes, you're probably going to overcook them. So make sure you be careful because you don't want them to be tough. When you're ready, you're going to take the orzo, the orzo with the feta and the spinach, and you're gonna make a bed of it on a big, large family platter, right? Like a serving. This is great at a barbecue, by the way. And if you're gonna serve it individually, then you're just gonna make a bed of orzo on each individual plate. But otherwise, take a big family-style plate, put the orzo with the feta and spinach on the bottom, and then take the grilled shrimp, still on the skewers, and just place the skewers on top of the bed of orzo, and you can present it that way, family style, at a great barbecue. But again, if you want to do individual portions, then do each individual plate with the bed of orzo, and then take 1 or 2 skewers of the shrimp, depending on how many people you have for dinner, and place it directly on the plate. You can present it. It's easy to make. It really looks great. It's got the feta's white, the spinach is green, the orzo's kind of like this yellow. The shrimps will be pink. It'll be plenty of color in this dish, and it's going to be really good. As usually, you can enjoy this with a white wine. I wouldn't drink a red wine with this. I'd drink a white, or in the summertime, maybe even a rosé. And there's really no need to add any other vegetables, because you got the orzo, you got the spinach, you got the feta. It's a great dish. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. And anyway, in any event, take good care, and I will see you tomorrow.